Welcome to the OMG Podcast, brought to you by Onward Media Group. Join us as we explore storytelling with video, life as a startup, and community impact in Kitchener-Waterloo. Whether you're a creative, entrepreneur, or just passionate about video and storytelling, we've got something for you. Now let's get into today's episode.
Hello and welcome back to the OMG Podcast. This is our first episode in our new studio. It's also a very special episode because we have our good friend Jill Laurie from the United Way. One of our first clients we worked with kind of in our new iteration of Onward last year. And we haven't really looked back. We've done a lot of great stuff together. It's been a really great partnership. Side note, a little sad that you're leaving. In good hands with Michaela. We're excited about that. But we will miss you. And it's an exciting opportunity to chat a little bit about the work we've done together, and some of the great causes that the United Way has, and just kind of our partnership and relationship because we've become friends over this. That's
Thank
the
you.
best clients become friends.
I like to think we become friends, so
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that, Darren.
Friend first now, client second, partner actually more so than client.
Okay, fair. And you're not going to get rid of me. I'm still around. I'm staying part of United Way as part of the Women United Committee, which has been a good cycle of 2 events led by a group of women philanthropists. And so I'm sliding into a volunteer role. And Michaela and I are also going to still make sure that we have a friendship working relationship. So yeah, good people. I'm totally local and still trying to make sure that I continue to give back, and United Way will stay a part of that. And when I have media stuff, Onward Media. Oh my goodness, yes.
It has been great. And I think when you think about kind of that sticking around, one of the things that we've really enjoyed is that when the opportunities arise, and we'll get a little bit into it, it's been probably some of the more fulfilling projects we've done, just because it's been such an impactful experience for us, but also to see most of the stuff we do is event driven. I know the first video was a campaign based on the fight to end poverty. And we got to work with all the great team, which was also fun because it was a chance for us to, it was also probably something we've done a little differently for the first time. Again, kind of the old iteration of really templated stuff. It was like, no, let's talk through what you need for this video and put together something great. And I think that's kind of what transpired there. We brought you all in for the narrative too. We did that little session where you guys all recorded your voices. We came to you guys and did some shots. And so in general, that was kind of the moment where I was like, this is what a fun partnership should feel like, in my opinion. And that was really the kind of the start. And we have talked about a little bit how our partnership kind of started at a bizarre time where there was a bit of a transition. And so there was a little bit of uncertainty at I like that. We should blurt that out just because it sounds like you said something else. But we also want to talk about how this, and I probably should have led with this, we're going to co-brand this episode. You guys have a great podcast called United Voices, started by you guys, which is fantastic. A little bit of a different setup as we've talked about, but happy to co-brand an episode where we get to leverage the studio. And again, it being the first one we've done in the studio, we've been here since July. It is October by the time this comes out. Probably November from our side. Okay, I want to get into a little bit. You have some questions. I have some questions. We're going to kind of freewheel this one a little bit. We're going to keep it nice and casual. It would be so unlike us. So unlike us. I'd rather not be rigid about it. Where do you want to start?
Well, you sort of referenced your podcast, and I feel like just going back to welcoming everyone to the United Voices podcast and having a little bit of a laugh at the different approach we take. I think Marcom team of 2 people, Michaela and myself, we had an awesome student, Kyla Musgrave, working with us this summer and sort of for 6 months before. But we are, as most nonprofits are, kind of wearing multiple hats. So Absolutely. Our podcast, the way we kind of clip it together, and I just think it was so funny that last week you called me, I think half an hour before I thought we were going to record the podcast over Zoom. And we're like, we're not actually recording today, are we?
I didn't realize, based on the email, I was like, we're just going to talk about doing the podcast next week. Oh, no, you're like, we're just going to do it.
Yeah, get in the link.
Yeah.
I'll hit record.
Yeah.
Michaela will do some cutting and editing. She's mastered the art of uploading, So our process, we kind of try to say to our guests, so it's not a lot of pressure for them, it'll just take half an hour. We'll record 15 minutes of content, edit out any of the things that we say that we don't mean to say. Michaela will work up a great graphic, do some things to promote it on social media, and then we put it out. Versus your approach, which is why we love to get to work with you, because it does turn what we do as a nonprofit, it's not necessarily about the professional element of the product.
Right.
It's about the message.
Yeah.
And so we've tried not to get to say bogged down, because I think there's a space for professionalism, which is why we love getting to work with you. It's such a treat.
Professionalism's good.
But for the United Voices regular listeners, don't get used to it. I mean, this is like a special treat for us. And then we'll go back to our Zoom recording, because when we're interviewing someone who, is a frontline housing and homelessness worker, we don't want to take a ton of their time. And then we want to be able to get the message out and keep it feeling, like the message is the piece, but it's nice to learn from you too. I think that for Michaela and I, it's really up-leveled things. And then when you were talking about the delivery of our campaign video, I do just have to flash back to you holding the lights. Do you remember that?
Yes. Again, early days.
You work hard. You do what needs to get done,
I was
right?
like, okay, this is what we're doing today. I am trying to hold this thing. And Cassio can speak to the ridiculousness of it being a windy day too. So like the arm workout of trying to hold that thing up in the air to block the light. And I think that was kind of part and parcel with like doing what we had to do to get the jobs done. And we're a small team. And so like, I'm not going to be like, no, I don't do that. Like, it's not my job description. Like everything is in my job description.
There is a really good. Yeah.
It is. It was a picture with Joan too. There's a picture of me and Joan, just me holding it and her smiling. It was great.
Cassio, can we get a nod? Did he do okay on the lighting, or would you not ask him to do that again?
I've done it since.
Yeah.
Well, also though, that same job is also done by a C-stand most of the time and a clamp.
Okay.
So it's really just a glorified stands job.
So I also thought that we would talk about AI and just different assistive devices. So
That's
your lighting job has been outsourced by a clamp.
Yeah.
And I think some of what we're able to do with this podcast, with your work, like that was one of the things that first blew me away when we started working with you.
Yes, I remember
was
this.
how you were able to record some conversations and then pull our brand and like our mission in a way that working for a couple weeks, I felt like your reflection after a couple of conversations was better. And I meant to bring that package today because when we got that package, I definitely do. It was amazing.
Oh, I like that.
And it really captured exactly the message that we wanted to portray. And you pulled it from several different conversations that kind of like today, sometimes go off on a tangent, but you were able to just pull like the key messaging. And that was really impressive. And I know you're really smart.
I really appreciate that because I don't usually get that level of feedback.
I have referred to it a few times.
Oh, I like
and
that.
it's printed in my file cabinet.
That actually means a lot to me. Because again, it was one of the first things in kind of our team and Jordan bringing in some of those tools to help us. Again, I think with the AI tools, we could go on a whole tangent on that alone. When you use it to superpower your own abilities, it's a really valuable tool. If you let it do all of the work, right now it's not there. Like you're going to get some seriously mixed results, especially in marketing. It was interesting because I was at a conference yesterday, unrelated, but they talk about how we're about to see a bunch of really bad marketing campaigns because there are going to be people that just hit go on AI and be like, run it. And it's going to be, it needs human intervention still.
Please give me 5 days of content.
And that's literally it. And then someone at the top is going to be like, this was cheap and I'm going to sign off on it. Like go run with it. And you're going to just see some really bad marketing campaigns.
100%.
And so it's that version of what you got was the kind of the balance of being able to leverage tools that capture the important pieces, but then turning that into a cohesive message that we know will resonate. And that took human intervention. That took, okay, we've talked about this stuff, but I was physically there for these meetings, so I do know what the messaging is. And then putting it together. And I think it was one of our differentiators too, I would say at Onward, is that a big part of what we're doing, it's kind of in that storytelling mindset, which is capturing what the message has to be at the high level to then bring it down to the micro and say, this is how we do it. This is how we can get that message out. And that was one of the first iterations of that. So again, kind of a special moment for us too, because we did come from a world where it was like, very templated and very much like, let's just pound out a bunch of questions to let's get creative with what we can do to really actually get the narrative right, get the visuals right, and it be a bigger story than just what you can say on camera. And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. That whole video, I actually looked at it yesterday because we're starting to kind of put some stuff together kind of out of our relationship too, because we have done so. We
really have. I feel like we have to like keep talking because our podcast is generally only like 20 minutes.
And we've already been filming for 45. No, I'm kidding.
we have so many things.
So let's just recap one. So like the first one was the campaign in 2024.
Then you did come to the Spirit Award, or not the Spirit Awards. It played at the Spirit Awards. You were guests.
We were guests, but we were also nominated. Didn't win, but that's okay. We won't
keep coming back, Darren.
Yeah, there you go. So 2024 Spirit Awards, golf for a cause.
Where you got the drone out.
Got the drone out.
Like so much cool footage that day.
A lot of good footage that day.
I don't know what you call Cassio's camera, but like your
like
camera
the rig.
suit.
Which one
rig?
Was it the easy rig with the thing over the top?
I think
or was it the ring that he like carries around? Like there's probably a few different things.
I've got some cool pictures of him and just the content that you created from that, which we were able to then use to market this year.
And we talked to some of the like sponsors and stuff that year, which I hope helps too, because it's again to the point of the why is we do this. It's being at those events and seeing the buy-in from local businesses, just people in the community that want to support, to come to those events, to contribute financially, to pay to come to the event, to sponsor to sponsor a part of the event. I think is a testament to the work you guys have done on the marketing side to be able to draw that interest in for these causes. And I think that part was fun. And we got to see that at each event. Like there was Golf for Cause, then there was,
March of 1,000 Umbrellas.
March of 1,000 Umbrellas. The corporate trivia is in there somewhere, but there was another Golf for a Cause in there somewhere. There was like, Novemberger, but Burger Battle.
Ultimate Burger Battle.
You
can still talk about Novemberger if you're talking about last year.
Okay, let's talk about
we do
November.
have a swear jar in our office for anyone who refers to this year's event as November.
What's the total right now in the swear jar?
I don't know. It's pretty generous, and I will be honest. I feel like I've contributed a good 50% of that.
Yeah.
Even though I was the one who was like, no. It is henceforth Ultimate Burger Battle.
So November is what I do want to talk about though, because it was kind of an insane month, and it's almost a year ago now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is literally quite a year.
You were an ambassador. So not only did you come and support us with the media and videos and did some really extra awesome content with some of the restaurants.
Yeah.
You were one of the judges, and I think you got to try
I had to
try like 12
I had 12 burgers in the month of November. The worst part is that I backloaded it. So I didn't do it in the first couple of weeks I was busy, and then all of a sudden I'm
procrastination does not pay.
Day after day I'm eating another burger, and like here I am complaining about eating good hamburgers. My favorite one, I don't even know if I should say this.
You're allowed to, yeah,
it was
totally.
the Crazy Canuck.
Okay.
The
bottomless
burger.
Yeah, I remember it. It was the most gigantic burger.
And they were all delicious. That one, for whatever reason, just stood out to me but I was also sick during one of them too, so I had to get my wife to go out and get the burger and come back for one of them, and I'm still taking shots.
Generally doesn't taste as good when you're...
But that was intense, but it was so fun because one, it's like you get to try these burgers, but it was also fun because the restaurants were really into it too. And that first day we did, it was like the launch.
First bite.
The first bite, that's what it was.
It's happening this Saturday.
I don't know what's happening this Saturday.
Last Saturday, per our not recording this immediately.
Some point on a Saturday. It's
Saturday,
happening.
November 1st.
There you go.
Yeah. Even though it's not Novemberger, we're still sticking to that month.
Do you want to talk briefly a little bit about what this competition is? Like what it is and what the purpose is behind it? Because Novemberger was great last year. Ultimate Burger Battle, same kind of concept that we're trying to raise awareness.
Concept.
Okay.
Well, it's just this idea of a collaboration between multiple United Ways. So it launched in Thunder Bay, I think 6 years ago, maybe 7 now. But the idea is to get community involved, raise awareness about United Way, and then raise money through restaurant sponsorship. That's how they do have to do a buy-in. And then $2 from every burger eaten over the month comes back to United Way, and then we're able to distribute it to all of the charities and nonprofits locally that we support. So last year, we had 14 restaurants. I think we raised about $12,000.
Awesome.
And our goals have been to double the quantum of those numbers.
Yeah.
So we actually have fewer restaurants this year, but the ones that are in are really amazing. Michaela has done a wicked job on the website. So all the burgers are up and listed. So we have 11 restaurants. Yeah. Makes it a little bit easier for our ambassadors because there's only 6 platinum. So that's what they'll be judging.
They have to judge those, yeah.
I mean, depending on what your appetite is, that's better or not better. But the idea is really just to bring people together, and food is always such a great connector that this year's tagline is every bite gives back.
I like that.
And the new event that we're adding is a burger crawl. So
tell me about that.
So the burger crawl was kind of just this vision of, again, getting people together and giving an easy opportunity to go out and try a bunch of these burgers in one shot. And so
a lot of burgers.
Well, we're going to do sliders. So
okay.
each of the 4 restaurants and those that are participating, we've got the Black Shop, Gator's Tail, the Bruce, and the Great Canadian Brew House. Nice. Those are the 4, and the reason we picked them is they were the first to sign up. So that was sort of the incentive of like, get in early so that you can be part of the burger crawl.
That's awesome.
So we can only take 50 because that's all that we can squeeze onto a big yellow bus.
That is cool, though.
It's going to be really fun. We did touch on the event that I did last year with Champs for Charity. So a shout out to them. I feel like there's 20 of them that signed up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Sid Vanderpool is one of this year's ambassadors.
Awesome.
And I think everyone really wants to see him, enjoying
Gorge
the burgers.
himself on burgers.
His line was, I kind of wasn't sure if he'd be interested, and maybe you can give your feedback on what an honor it was to do this. But because he's such like a health-focused person, I wasn't sure if this would appeal and kind of be part of his brand. So I asked him, feeling like it was a bit of a favor, and he cut me off and he's like, what? So I have to eat burgers? So I stop right there. I'm in.
That was kind of my reaction too, to be honest. I was like, yo, so you want me to just eat a bunch of burgers? I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty fantastic. I will say though, by the 10th burger of the 2 weeks that I crammed them all in, it was health-wise, I was like, it's probably not the right move. And they were real burgers. They were hefty.
They were. They tried to make them really fantastic, ultimate burgers, but I don't have any sympathy. Part of my story, Darren, is I have been a vegetarian on and off for decades.
That's right.
And I really felt like I was a phony if I'm encouraging everyone else to have these burgers and I'm not doing it myself. So I dropped the vegetarian and became a veggie burgetarian as of last November. And I kind of thought, am I going to feel sick? Because that's what people say. Right. No, my system loved it.
And you're like, I'm going back.
I did. There were places I went twice for the burgers, and I don't like eating a steak. I don't want to have to cut it, but a burger is totally part of my vegetarianism now. And so I don't really have sympathy. I went at it, And this year we're also encouraging everyone, even if you're not an ambassador, tag it on social, make it really fun. So unofficial ambassador, love to have you still participating, being wow.
Yeah.
Next level from last year.
Yeah.
There's because I think people are able to be more creative once they can see how it worked. Yeah. The restaurants that are back in, there's chefs that are checking in from last year and then stepping it up. Some of these burgers are huge. Burger coma will be a real thing.
That bus ride's going to be real quiet on the way back from the last one. It's going to be
don't drink and drive, and don't eat 2 burgers and drive. Don't do it.
That's really exciting.
It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be fun. So it's going to run the whole month.
Yep. And we'll be sharing it on social media. Nationally, there's 12 United Ways participating at 186 restaurants. So it's growing nationally, which is really fun. And
is it Ultimate Burger Battle across the board?
That's why we're calling it that, so that it gives some United Ways, if they wanted to run it in July or wanted to run it at a different time. That's why we pulled the November piece out of it. There was also a copywriting issue that someone else decided to copyright it. We didn't want to mess with that. Just change the name. I think it was one of the things I wanted to touch on with you, that I think what Onward Media does as would you call it a startup? Small business?
Yeah, we're definitely a small business, and I would say we're still in startup world in this iteration of it, and we're growing and expanding, but it's
looking around, it doesn't really feel like startup small business anymore.
And maybe it's just my mindset of being no, I don't want to say it, right?
Okay, I don't want to say it and jinx you in any way, but kind of feels like you made it. This is awesome.
Appreciate that.
This is so awesome.
Some days when I see the name
from holding the light sign to now we're here with our team kind of thinking,
I still have to hold the light sign.
Why are these two sitting in the chairs anyway?
I don't I think from our perspective in terms of one, the relationships with you guys, but a big focus has been on working with community partners. And I think even from a personal angle, I grew up here. I was born and raised in Kitchener-Waterloo. Yes.
Cambridge. Yes. Kitchener-Waterloo,
Cambridge. Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge. Sorry. My mom was born and raised in Cambridge, so I have a soft spot for it. And so it's to be able to have the ability to either give back or just contribute or just kind of shed light on what's happening in our community. It feels awesome. Because again, having been here, I'm familiar with the stuff that's happening. It's funny because both Jordan and Cassio, not from the region, we go places and I know people everywhere. And it's not because I'm super popular. It's because I've just been here for so long. It's not that big of a region. And so, but I think that's been such a great experience for myself in this space, is coming from kind of the corporate sector into a space where I get to actually leverage the resources I do have here to be able to give back and to be able to support. And it's also the more those types of projects, the work we do with you guys, it's fulfilling, it's exciting, it's impactful, and that just makes it not feel like work. And that's what we really like about it. And so it's been such an honor to be able to work with you guys so far. We want to keep doing it. Again, we've done quite a bit in the span of like 18 months, if that's what it's been since the start of it. And I don't really want to stop. And I think there's a lot more we can do and continue to support. And the thing is too, is we have a bunch of great content from the last 18 months that can now be kind of repurposed and used to promote the campaigns that are ongoing, and any campaign really for that matter. There's just a lot of good stuff. And it's also a testament to the amount of work you guys are doing in the community too, to keep doing this stuff, to keep getting the crowds to come out. I think one of the things we've kind of thought about and talked about recently too is that the thing that I notice the most about these events is the buy-in. It doesn't seem fake or forced, like even corporate trivia. Like there's just a bunch of people there. Like, yeah, they're there to have a good time, win some prizes and you know, kick some ass at trivia. But it's also like we're coming here for a cause too. And like we want to put our money behind that so we can support these initiatives. That has been evident at every single event, which I think is really cool. Also, small silver lining, I got to play in the Golf for a Cause tournament this year.
Not just play.
I just happened to have a really good team. And we won.
You just happened to win. I mean, good things happen to good people.
That is probably the first and only golf tournament I'll ever win in my entire life.
Where's the trophy? I thought you told me
I didn't bring it
like,
in. It's in my home office. I meant to bring it in.
We were going to
just put it right here.
Close up on that $1 million trophy.
That fantastic trophy.
2025 champion, United Way Golf for a Cause. So it was Onward Media and TD. So we should give a shout out to you.
Yes.
And it was like, I love that. It was a collaboration.
It was a collaboration.
And we just
those guys were
up.
great too. And those guys they're great golfers, also great people. I brought Nick, who was also a fantastic golfer. I was really the worst of the bunch, and I'm not that good at golf. I'm okay, but I got to experience that. I'll probably never win a golf tournament.
Never say never.
Never say never.
You coming back next year?
I am.
This is one of the pieces where I'm kind of excited that I
you
don't have to
part me up,
organize
with,
the tournament this year. I'm hoping to play in it.
So Michaela, that's all on you then.
But she will be supporting one of my colleagues who's really excellent at events. And so, yes, but it's kind of fun to be at these things. So the burger crawl is actually my last kind of official day and official event. Yeah. So that's already pretty exciting to stay part of it, but see it from a different perspective with like a little less stress.
Less stress.
Kind of like today, podcast that we have professionals.
It is pretty fun.
Really managing well for us.
It's also like we haven't shot, I don't even remember the last one we shot, but it was definitely in the old studio, which would have been before the end of June. Yeah, before the end of June. So it's been a few months for us, and it's something we enjoy doing because it is a chance to have an authentic, more informal conversation with people that we work with and people in the community. And I think that's what this platform is meant for, because it's a little like if we did kind of like, let's do a sit-down interview. And like the stuff we've done actually in the past is we're trying to get a narrative out of it, and this is a different way to do it. And it's kind of just, it's more a little more.
Let's see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. It's going to be unusable.
There's so much that resonates, and I kind of like don't want to interrupt because on our podcast, when you do that, you can't hear people. I love that you've got two real microphones, and instead it's like,
can't talk over top of each other.
But like the idea of giving back to the community that you grew up on is something that so resonates with me. It is just so fulfilling to be somewhere and see someone that you haven't seen in ages, decades. Yeah. There's so many great ways to give back, and this is such an amazing local community. So I did read your piece on talking about tapping the keg at Oktoberfest, which must have been like,
it was pretty special.
Feeling like you've made it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Prime Minister tapped a keg this year at Oktoberfest.
That was a unique
Stephen Page,
experience.
And Darren Bondi.
That was it's a little bit surreal because, maybe if you're not from Kitchener, like tapping a keg for Oktoberfest,
you might not get it.
It may not make sense.
Or Cambridge people get it too.
Yeah, Cambridge people do get it. But it was such a unique experience to be able to kind of participate in something that I have experienced every year growing up since like a small child, where, my parents would go out Oktoberfesting and we would have like any sporting, like everything was Oktoberfest based. So again, to be able to not only support a Kitchener-based initiative, again, that's something that is bringing local businesses out and supporting the community, and then to be able to like tap a keg and have that bunch of people crowd around while you're tapping a keg full of...
putting on that cool leather apron.
That thing was heavy.
It felt like you were being crowned.
I know. I was like, this is really, really cool. And then
you played it off well, though. Like you looked like
I'm like,
I knew in your head you were like, yes.
I showed up to the arrangement part a little bit late, so I got to hold the spigot instead of spank the spigot, which was fine. It was cool, and it was
maybe next year.
Maybe next year, I'm gonna request formally to be able to tap the keg. The Prime Minister hit the keg super hard. Cassio almost got covered in beer, which was a little close. It was a very crowded event that we had the privilege of being able to kind of be in there and kind of be like the official media side of capturing that, which is like the perks of the job, to be able to kind of just be in that environment, in that situation, and be a little bit special. Like, you're not just the crowd. You got to be like, no, listen, we're here to cover this, and it's our job to do it. And it was pretty fun. Cass was probably a little bit stressed about how it transpired because it was a very crowded room. There was a lot of pushing and shoving from other media-based people that were in there in a very intense hour, because being the total sidebar, but being the Prime Minister sounds like an exhausting job to have to be on, and he had to shake everybody's hands and walk around the room, and it was just like a never-ending thing. And then he got in a car and drove away. That was, said some words, tapped a keg. We have this
scheduled for 37 minutes.
It was, and there was a bunch of I don't know if they call it Secret Service here, but it was a pretty intense. We have clips of them sniffing Cassio's camera, the dogs sniffing the cameras to check for explosives, I guess. From security, they had to sweep the room. It was a very intense little session. But again, when you think about it, whether you agree with his politics or not, but having the Prime Minister come into Kitchener to a tiny little fest hall, tap a keg for the local community, just for whatever reason, as part of his stop. And that's a pretty cool thing. And again, kind of comes back to being proud of being from this region
100%.
And being able to participate in it.
Were you at the Cambridge keg tapping? Did you?
No.
So I just feel like Oktoberfest really hyped up our region so much this year. They had the German ambassador come and tapped a keg at Cambridge City Hall.
Oh, cool.
I think it was the week after, but it was the day before the Prime Minister came to do the final. And
that's awesome.
It was really cool.
I
think
cool.
Cambridge is really trying to blend in to be part of that regional environment. Joan Fisk, CEO of United
Cambridge.
Way. Well, Cambridge, but she actually won the Oktoberfest Women of the Year Lifetime Distinction Award this year.
Amazing.
And she had really felt like she wasn't going to win. And I've never heard of this before, but she said Cambridge is south of the sauerkraut line. I don't know if that's a real thing, but I kind of being from a little bit of a different generation was like, what is that? No, you're going to win. And she kind of laughed at me.
That is hilarious.
So
I might use the south of the sauerkraut line.
Turns out though, but we're blowing the glass ceiling. We're blowing the sauerkraut line away because she won.
Be. That's awesome.
And
a Cambridge native.
And she just felt like she wasn't going to win. So she was caught completely off guard at the Women of Distinction event.
Funny.
It was awesome.
I do remember that actually, because that was in.
Was it in March?
I was gonna say it wasn't recent.
No, they do.
That's why
they
I got
kind
confused.
of. It's not one of the Oktoberfest events.
It's just an initiative they run
to
through
spread
the year.
things out.
Yeah.
They do it in the spring. I feel like it's March.
They have been so we've worked with them a little bit over the past. This year was our first official partnership with them, and they have been so fun to work with too.
They probably saw what you did with United Way.
That's
just saying.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's because, your work is amazing.
Thank you.
It has really elevated us, and it is such a pleasure to get to introduce you and reference, hey, do you know the team at Onward Media? Because, Darren, you're awesome, but so is Jordan and Cassio. And I do want to give a shout out to one of my first experiences with Onward Media was Jordan giving a keynote speech, basically, which I want to watch again. I feel like we did record it. But you guys had United Way in your blood from the beginning. I was so sold. Every time you've shown up, it's just been so authentic and so, I even said to Michaela today, I love that we get to collaborate with this team of creatives, because sometimes I feel a little bit at my computer, emails, she's our digital creative. I'm not. She knows that. I don't know if I can say it on, but I pass her my pile of crap and then she makes it look really nice. That's part of how we work together.
Yeah.
But it just feels really great to get to work with you and be inspired. And that AI kind of collaborative piece, that was an introduction for me too, seeing what you were able to do just by taking minutes with an otter. I feel like Cassio's otter was the first otter that ever came to a meeting with me. I was like, this is
what is this thing?
Okay.
It's that technology is, if you're not using it now, you're falling behind. But even on the AI piece, that type of thing also allows you to have better conversations without being like, okay, hold that thought for a second. I need to write this note down, and then I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I think that's one of the ones when you think of how it supercharges human beings. That's the type of thing where it's like we can have a conversation, and you and I can really figure out what the meat and potatoes is of what we're trying to achieve. But I don't have to spend the whole time trying to take the notes for that, and then I get to kind of take that back and say, okay, what did we actually talk about? What were the bones of that, so we can now build out the next step.
And that's so much more human because you actually get to experience the conversation.
Yes.
And instead of getting caught like a line behind trying to write it.
My whole first job at the University
of Waterloo. Can you say that again?
Yeah. My whole first job at the University of Waterloo was taking meeting minutes and is now replaced by a piece of software.
Are you a really good typer too?
I was. I mean, I guess I still am probably, but it was like furiously typing and also only typing the things that matter. So you're like, okay, do I need to type that? And you started to learn who spoke politically versus who spoke with substance. And so you started to learn he's going to go on for a tangent for 5 minutes. I can just kind of, sit back for a few minutes and I can just hang out because I've heard this man speak before and I probably don't need to capture it. Little product placement for us.
Well, I think it's funny because my son is 14 and I feel like he doesn't type. Like he just uses voice to text all the time. And I'm kind of like, you need to learn to type. You need to learn to do this. But I don't know if he does.
I don't know if you do.
He is more creative and sort of AI in school reference. But now at a high school level, the teachers understand. And so they're making them source everything. Yep. And the way they assign stuff, it really pulls their ability to really lean on AI and actually use their own brains. So I've been really impressed with seeing how sort of the school program can be adaptive. Yeah. And they'll be like, well, you use it. And I'm like, yeah, I use it in a professional way and then filter it. Yeah. I had to learn all this stuff.
We're all learning,
was in a generation where I went to a library and looked up a card and got out a book.
And then I had to fill out all the source details in a way that I didn't understand with
Still
commas
don't.
and
You know what ChatGPT can cite and source
I
things
imagine,
for you. Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit before we go on kind of generally the community support and what others could be doing. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about that. I think we talked about kind of where Onward's able to support, but I think if other businesses are interested in supporting the community, I think some of the initiatives that United Way is doing are a great place to start. For us, it's kind of an obvious one where it's we can support with our resources, help create content, help spread that awareness. What other ways can businesses support? The Burger Battle is a good example where restaurants can jump in. Obviously, Golf for a Cause, corporate trivia. There's a lot of, I think, easy and I guess accessible ways to support that don't require a ton of either effort or input. I think the effort's important, and I think that's where we come in. But what are some of the other ways that people can kind of support the United Way initiatives?
Each of our initiatives kind of try to create different entry points for people and understanding that not everyone is in a position to give just because we need that. Our society is built in a way that we do need support for our social services. They don't have enough funding. Yeah. Another piece of our model is really that we create a stronger region by contributing to these. If we don't, we'll see it and everyone will feel it. So attending events, sharing our message, even just following us on social media. I think one of the pieces that I often hear from people giving feedback or even people I know is I don't really understand United Way. And making a little bit of an effort to understand our work is pretty simple. And I can, say in 10 seconds, we do community-wide umbrella. That's part of our Umbrella March fundraising in order to raise money that gets distributed across a wide network of local nonprofits. And we also advocate across sort of not just national, but internationally. United Way has been over 85 years working to support the most needed causes in local communities, and it's identified locally. That's why we are United Way Waterloo Region, because we are able to identify what's the biggest need here. So it's not that complicated.
Yeah. Honestly.
We have a list. Last year, we supported 73 different local nonprofits. And so if we told all those stories, that was one of the things we connected on is how many incredible stories there are within our network. However, it's hard to tell one simple story when there's so many. But come to our events, within workplaces, we try to create an opportunity to give back and create social responsibility through workplace campaigns. So even right now, I have colleagues that are out doing a Make the Month simulation at a workplace. And that's a way to expose your workplace to what's it like to live in a situation of somebody who is receiving United Way benefits. It also creates community within businesses. So we try to not say just donate because it's the right thing to do. We try to educate, create a way for people to do something good for themselves as well. Coming out to our events, we always kind of consider as like that easy entryway to start understanding and connecting with the community. We have over 200 local businesses that support United Way through workplace campaigns. And that was like the big platform back in the early days. It was the, give whatever from your paycheck every week. And the idea that a little bit from everyone goes a long way. We did a small campaign last spring that talked about if everyone in Waterloo region gave just $5, we'd raise $3.5 million.
That's crazy. When you think about it like that, it's not a hard thing to do.
Giving up a cup of coffee. And so like ever since I started working at United Way, understanding that I am part of the lucky group and I can give back a little bit. So I've always done my payroll deduction. And even as I'm leaving United Way, it's my intention to keep doing that because I'm able to. But that's a long-winded answer because there's so many ways.
It's a great answer.
And I think we also really are looking nationally. There's a big awareness that individuals and kind of with that age gap, understanding that legacy giving is becoming a really important part of the nonprofit sector. Because of that wealth transfer. So that's something that we're really trying to make people more aware of. There's major tax benefits with making a charitable gift part of legacy, whether it happens pre or post-mortem. And it's not something people love talking about, but hopefully even just dropping that, it wasn't so bad. But just keeping giving in mind. I grew up in an environment where my parents were really always involved in charitable work and volunteer work. And so it's always been a part of my life, but I see how it makes people feel better. When you're able to give back, even if it's just a little bit, if it's volunteering, we have so many different ways people can get involved. It's never just about giving money, but if you can give money, money always does help.
Can help.
When we're talking with our network about housing and homelessness, there's all these great ideas and service providers that have solutions. They just don't have the finances to implement those solutions. I'm optimistic that there's so many great people working in this space. Our region, our country, it will keep getting better, but we all have to do our part. Otherwise, it won't keep getting better. And so, I always look at that bubble of what I can do. So if I can encourage somebody else, that's great, but I always just have to do my part. So
and
keep supporting United Way. It's good for your soul, Darren.
Absolutely. And that's part of why we do it so much too, is selfishly, there's a part of it where it's this feels good.
I'm glad.
It is. And I think too, the kind of to cap off that, the beauty of what United Way is doing locally here is that by creating the initiatives that allow people to participate, it's not just an ask for money. It's playing a golf tournament. Yes, you have to pay to do this thing, or yes, you have someone's got to pay for it, but you get to participate in those things. You get to go have a nice burger, at a restaurant. You can do that anyways, and it's that contribution. So I think it's making it accessible in a space where, in 2025, asking people for donations when everyone's purse strings are a little tighter now because, that's just the way the world is. It's tough. And so being able to give it so that there's something that they can participate in and contribute to while also feeling the positive impact, I think is the right way to do it because it's a lot more accessible than, hey, just send us a check.
Right.
And you can still do that. To your point, money always works, but to be able to kind of give it something back to the individual that's participating, it makes it all fun. And if you win the golf tournament, it's an extra, I feel really good about that one.
Especially at the golf course that you actually worked at. Talk about all these incredible full circle moments. And that's what community is.
It is.
I overuse the word community, based on our work. And
it's the first word of the campaign video.
But that's I was because I was part of the idea that I felt it's so important. But that continues to be because that's what resonates with me about the way United Way works is it's about everybody and that feeling of everybody and inclusivity and lifting up the people that need it the most is so critical. But the reference I wanted to make was in those opportunities where we're bringing people together, that human contact post-COVID especially, and in workplaces at our events, that's another way that as United Way, we feel we can give back to people because we create those moments.
And those social events create connection, create stronger bonds in the community. I've personally met people through these events, whether you've introduced me or we've just been there together and it's overlapped and we've chatted and have created bonds and friendships. And I think, again, another takeaway from that is being able to meet and collaborate with like-minded people who want to support the community as well. And I feel like that's a pretty good way to like tie a bow on this podcast in light of the time. I want to make sure we're respectful.
Tie a bow. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
But don't drop the mic. This is a really nice mic.
It's this has been a lot of fun.
This
has been our first episode in this studio, but also our first co-branded episode, United Voices, OMG United Voices podcast. We're going to miss you at the United Way, but it's not going to be the last time we see each other, work together, talk to each other. So really great having you on today. And I'm also really grateful to be onto your podcast today as well, because that's what this is.
Thanks for joining us on United Voices, Darren. It's been a blast.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And we'll see you for the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the OMG Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us at info@onwardmediagroup.com.